We're joined by Kent. Women love him, men want to be him.
How's it going, Russell? All right.
Well, I'm all right, Kent. I'm always there or thereabouts, aren't I? So show me face, Kent, or shall I hide behind camera like a lot of these who leave comments in comment section? What do you think, Kent?
Well, we all know what you look like, so it's not like you're hiding from anybody, Russell. I think if there's anyone that's
Hiding. Hiding. Listen, man. To
ever,
hide from any well, from this shower of shit in
ever,
boxing. No, why would we need to hide from any of these? Liars, vagabonds, charlatans. Off with their heads.
yeah, Russell, you look like you've been using the iMac.
Yeah, what's that? iMac.
That's the hair removal cream.
Hair removal cream. No.
Chest the
I had
May
a shave
West
yesterday, Kent. I had a shave yesterday. I've got a bit of
on
stuff
the
on.
On the May West.
Oh, no, no, it's I'm not exactly Burt Reynolds, Kent, like you. You know, I
Are
mean,
they
who wants hamburger meat, Kent, or a rug?
silk pajamas, Russell?
Yeah, no, it's my dressing gown.
What would Marvin Hagler say to those silk pajamas, Russell? You're an abomination here. This is
Silk
shocking.
bedding, silk pajamas, overrated. It just sticks to your body, mate.
iMac, shaven, silk pajamas. What's becoming of you, man? Come on.
Ken, are you breaking my balls? How are you, Kent? I missed you. Are
Yes, I'm good, Russell. Good to see you again, bro.
you all right, mate? Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I'm dead
have
on.
you
I
been up
just had
to? What have you been up to? Any more problems with that Audi?
no, no, don't even say that. That's been 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Don't even say that, bro. Don't even say that. Fingers
Okay.
crossed.
Okay. I don't really know where to start, Kent, so I'm going to do a Clint Eastwood and say, let's just roll with it. Right, Kent, the Crusher Ben files. Where did it all go wrong from beginning to where he's at now? Because I think we've been fed a load of bullshit and they're just inventing stuff for the sake of it. He's obviously playing bad guy, isn't he? He's the villain now. Over to you, Ken. I just want to know, but what I want you to do mention is how is he still WBC number three ranked at welterweight and he's not fought at that weight for over 3 years? Help me out. Help me to help you, Kent.
You're trying to make logic of an organization that doesn't have any logic whatsoever. This is the organization that Roy Jones in the 90s vacated his title, and they put a vacant title on. Rocket Gianni won the title, and Roy Jones decided he wanted it back. That could have been one of the biggest lawsuits in boxing. That could have finished WBC.
We
That was
nearly did,
all.
didn't it?
It was all brushed under the carpet. So if you're trying to make logic from the WBC, you're going to be looking for it in infinity. You're never going to get it. But I'm digressing here, but we'll go back to Conor Ben. Basically, where did it all go wrong? Wrong, and what respect in the ring, outside?
Well, we've got a kid here. He's 29 in September. He's no area belt, no English, no Commonwealth, no British, no European, and no world title. But all of a sudden, he's ranked number three by the WBC World Boxing Council, Sullivan's lot, and he hasn't fought for over 3 years. It's 37 months since he last fought at welterweight. So how does he retain that ranking, considering when you look at the WBC rules? But in the rules, there's clauses for everything and an asterisk next to it so they can subject to what they think. So that technically it's a corrupt organisation. It's because they're just inventing it as they go along. Oh, well, I've told you that. I'll just give you it. It's go and look at their rules. So whenever there's a problem, it's subject to what they think on every single thing. I'm looking through it, and I know. First thing I did when I started with Big Ron, he said, "There you go, green book, swallow that," which I did. So I know border controls. I know it changes every couple of years, every now and then. But the WBC, they're just inventing it. They're making up their own rules because nobody can overrule them. So Crusher Ben, 37 months away from a welterweight title fight, is ranked number 3 by the WBC. How can that be? How can that be?
Basically, it says that I looked at this at the time when Fury and Dillian White were having their whole who's number one, who's not. And it basically says there that the Board of Governors will basically make a call on the goodness of boxing and for the organization. The organization isn't an organization. The organization is a business. It's a business decision. So basically, they want Conor Benn in a situation where now thereby they can get a really high purse bid, and that's basically all it's about. It doesn't work. People think that you have to be really good, entertaining to get a ranking. That's not the case. You have to pay for your ranking. You don't just earn a ranking.
Oh
You
yeah,
pay
I
for it.
know all that. I'm not going into detail about it because I had a call over there off Big Ron. No, I rung Max, and he goes, "Oh, I'm with Big Ron. I'm going to put him on to you." So me and Big Ron had a bit of a. I just told Big Ron straight. "Oh, why you hammering my shows? This is the shit, absolute pony." And told him, and he were like, "Oh," laughing and joking, like because he knows he can't budge me, doesn't he, Big Ron? But Big Ron were trying to soften me up like a marshmallow, like they've done with Froch and Bunce and other people I admire. Softened up. Big Ron, you can't soften Big P up, Big Ron. So if you keep serving up shit, I'm going to mention it. If you put good on, I'll mention that. Anyway, away with Big Ron. He's an old timer. Your internet connection is unstable. Hey there, Kent. Kent.
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, every now and then
Yeah.
it pops up, doesn't it? Because oh, hang on a minute, I'm out my brains in. I've got chair, wire, as you do. There you go. I'm back. Women love me, men don't want to be me. What do you think to my new guy, Kent? What's he called? Let's have a bit of a sea background, Kent. Oh, you haven't seen it yet, have you? Louis from London, this new kid I've got on. He's really good.
See, to be honest with you, the only people I watch on it is Terry, to be
Yeah,
honest.
because Terry's a horse of a man, isn't he, in boxing? He's like bowling about 17 and a half stone. He's like that. He's like Hercules, isn't he? Little Hercules.
They all come and go. Terry's
Who's gonna put Terry in his place? Because if they do, they're gonna have to probably be an heavyweight and probably be a professional, and then it's gonna be a roller on. So he's an hard night's work for any of them. So Terry just says it as he sees it, doesn't he? Really, but he words it a lot better than me because I word it like from kitchen sink, don't I? Council estate. Whereas Terry's a
it's
bit.
not even physicality. It's the knowledge he's got, and it's the background he's got,
Well, that's
and
what he's
it's the way
got, hasn't
he's
he? But he's got his
articulated.
education, hasn't he? Listen, he's a lot younger than me, Terry. But for any kid to come over from another country for starters, it's a big thing. So he's come over from Zimbabwe in a war-torn country or whatever's gotten on. Don't want to get too political, but he's come over and he's educated himself over here. Ended up at Sheffield Union. He does boxing. He's boxed amateur, and he's played high standard rugby. So he's obviously got the most out of his. He's made the most of it, and he coming over from something like that. And
But
obviously he's a big
Terry's
noise in
fantastic.
banking. He's a big noise in the banking industry.
He's
He don't want for
fantastic.
no. He don't want for no. He's a very smart individual. He's on a good few quid every month. So you got to fucking give credit to that, haven't you? And he does amateur
I,
coaching, Kent, as well, and doesn't take a penny. Come on,
and the thing that I admire about him the most is he comes on the channel,
come on, Terry.
and a lot of the guys that come on the channel, will agree with everything that you say. He's his own man,
He's been my
you
mate
know,
9 years, mate. He's bang on. He's bang on. I won't have a bad word said about him. And we've had a few fallouts, but we always beg to differ. We don't have a boxing. We don't fall out over anything else. But he's bang on. He's bang on him. He's all right. He's all right. Oh. And he can fight like fuck. Let me tell you, I had him out at my cousin's house in Skella. They were whacking that bag then, and we were like, woo! How were they playing snooker in this bat cave thing, man cave thing, Bottom Garden? And Terry were there doing the business on bag. And let me tell you this, he's an handful for anybody. And I think he plays scrum half, does he, at rugby? Listen, well, anyway, all these that give him stick, well, this is what I say. Go say it to his face. Because
did you
he's
not
not.
do any body sparring with him?
Pardon?
Did you not do any body sparring with him?
No, all right, my brains. No, I was doing trick shots in man cave at Bottom Garden, mate. No, he's all right, Terry. He's bang on, mate. He's bang on. But like I said, all these who have a problem and send me, I mean, vileness. Because they say Terry's a racist, don't they? Because he always tends to, they say he backs the black fighter all the time. Not true. I can pull videos up all day long about it, and he's not like that. But people build a perception in their heads, don't they? If he's like sticking up for people like Dan Aziz or other guys from down south, do you know what I mean? But that's totally not true, honestly. Honestly. But everybody's entitled to an opinion. That's why we have social media. You're going to be a bit thick-skinned, Kent, aren't you? You think?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, the Crusher situation now, he's out there in New York, right, begging for a fight. But look, in my opinion, Kent, I don't know how you feel about this. In my opinion, why would you put him near anybody now other than Chris Eubank Jr.? Because wherever you put him, if it's an half decent fight, he's going to get beat. If it's more than a 50, if it's a 50-50, he loses. Because he's as raw as a badger, isn't he?
I think the big problem is now that they sit down and they'll look at the fight and they talked about having a great camp and breaking records and on the
Breaking
track,
records, what records they're
sparring,
breaking? What LP
training,
or 14 inch?
diet,
Oh, what?
all the non-essential
Vinyl. They're
stuff.
breaking records as in vinyl or breaking records as in
They
what?
they
What?
they talked the whole camp about the non-essential stuff, about how good he was doing the
How good who
non-essential
was?
bits.
Crusher.
The training camp, everyone, senior Nigel,
Let
Tony
me tell you
Sims.
this, right? Let me tell you this, right? Crusher Ben's 29 in September. I'll go to Barnsley now and I'll get Gwyn Whale, right? Coming off at building site and I'll put some gloves on him and Gwyn Whale would flog him on the fucking spot, mate, now. And
So,
Gwyn's 10 years older than him. He would flog him on the spot now.
and
But they built him up as this Essex this and his dad Nigel Benn's son that and blah blah blah. And they've actually put him in a situation where he's a welterweight going in with a super middle boiled down. They've actually boiled this kid down, Eubank. Let me just point this out to you, right? This is from Adam Booth. Oh, obviously, him and Eddie Hills. Hills, they're not mates no more, are they? But does a rehydration clause cause someone to be not at their best in a combat sport? Yes, it does. And then Adam Booth went on to say, and Eddie Hearn had put that in the contract. So that basically putting his chief executive of his company, right, Frank Smith, he's Wait Eubank's sister. So they're in on it and they're putting in, right, with this clause that he has to boil down and all that. So Adam Wolf's right. Eubank's not going to be at his best. We all remember Michael Watson where he fought Eubank in the rematch, but they moved it up to 168 from 160. But then they changed it, didn't they, halfway through to 164. Now that meant that Michael Watson had to take that fluid You had to strip another £4 out of your body, which you can do over 2 or 3 hours. But the last fluids comes from protecting your brain, and you can't get it back in over that period of time, can you? Didn't they learn anything from that? Or Kell Brook, or Lee Purdy, Devon Alexander? We all remember Barry Hearn, don't we? Sat in the sauna with him, and Eddie bragging about it, and they ended up getting a fine from board, didn't they? Right. And then we've got this, but this is not long after Patrick Day died, and Eddie were crying on IFL. One who always died, he'd ring on my show and all that. Yeah, and it were horrible. And we could understand Eddie being upset, but Eddie were talking about safety for fighters, then one in. Safety is paramount. My fighters are like my family. His words, not mine. And then we've got this. One over to you, Ken.
A lot of lessons had to be taken from that Mega Watson tragedy. Was basically what they had to do after that. It was make boxing safe. That's why there was a 24-hour weigh-in, which basically gave fighters adequate time to rehydrate.
Yeah.
And now I think there should be a thing from government. I think the board, I think anybody, if it was a board at all, anybody that was involved in that fight as a promoter or a manager need to be brought before the board and need to be penalised for that.
They're not going to
because
be
that
though, are they? The board have given him a licence, Crusher Ben. For 2.5 years, what were the boards saying? It's going to this, it's going to that, it's delayed, you can't talk about it. They were doing Crusher no favours, the Boxing Board of Control, Roberto Smith. We all agree on that, don't we?
Yeah.
And then at the last minute, what have they done? After saying, well, he's got to prove he's innocent and all that for all that period of time, at the last minute, he's still not proved his innocence. Right? Nobody's asking that. And then they give him a border control license fighting UK. After all that's gone on.
What we heard was
Idiots or something here or something. What's going on here? Why are these big noggins like Adam Cattrall with his own YouTube channel, Puppy Parsons with Stomping Ground, Umar IFL Umar, all the rest of them, Coogan, the lot of them, the Gad, Juggies Oliver, Judge Jordan. Well, they're all supposed to be the big dogs now, aren't they? We all access. Why are they not putting it on this lot? Why are they not saying Crusher Ben failed his dope test? You covered it up. You let everybody buy tickets and book hotels. Right? You did all that. Still covered it up. We've got two promoters here, Sauerland and Eddie Hearn. Right? Calla Sauerland and Eddie Hearn. Both from multi-millionaire families. Right? Generational wealth. Spoilt brats. Never had to overcome adversity in their fucking lives, mate. Right? We've got them, right, doing that, and everybody not doing anything about it. And nobody putting it on these pieces of shit that we're going to put a drug-fueled fighter in the ring who's not proved his innocence against a weight-depleted fighter. That were all set up for a manslaughter job, that, in my opinion, if that would have happened. Because it were a worse rehydration clause than when they did fight these 2.5 years later. Do we agree?
absolutely.
And you just see he had to pace him, didn't he? Because he knew he wasn't right. You could see it.
I was relieved that when the fight actually finished.
Pieces of shit. Pieces of shit. All them involved. And you know the media? That's what I think to them, mate. The media, the boxing UK media, Ludabella's got them all weighed up. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but listen. Them Yanks over there know what this lot are. You know when they all go into an arena for a show over there? Yeah, Dan Rayfield and all the rest of them, all them Yanks are all like, look who it is. Because at least that Dan Rayfield and all them Yanks, they go after Eamon and all them. There's no favours over there. Ludabella, Don King at lot, De La Hoya. And look what we have to fucking put up with over here. Arse kissers. It's me pal. It's me pal. He's a pal of mine. Well, they're not my fucking pals. All I want to see is fair play, Kent. That's the moral of the story. This channel, the concept, 8 year fair play. We're not seeing it, are we? You've got people with fantastic YouTube channels, fastest growing, Frotchers. What's he gone and done? He sold his arsehole, right? All that momentum he had, it's gone like that now, isn't it? And now it'll go like that. No credibility now. Who else has been bought off? Loads of them. How many fighters are parked up on these silent bans? That's what I want to fucking know. But you can't talk about it. It's like they've invented this like new law in House of Lords, isn't it? I can't talk about it. Can't talk about it. What the fuck is that, Ken? You tell me.
Come back to the fight. I was actually relieved that when the fight actually finished.
I what?
I
I
was
know Eubank had won.
I was relieved. I was actually elated. I actually near cried. I was so happy that he won that fight. It was it was basically a travesty seeing how depleted Eubank was. I noticed from round one that his legs were gone, completely
Legs were
gone.
got. Fucking hell.
Legs
Listen,
gone.
it looked like two men having a fight in Witherspoons in Maxborough. That's what it looked like. Two men getting at it in Mont on a Saturday night, mate. That's what it looked like to me. It were low level. Ben on a good day's English level. The other kid on his best day is probably British level on his best day, but that'd be at 168. And that were it. A British level on his best and an English level on his best, and that's giving him a G up, Ben. And I'm like, wow, look at the dough they've drove off. They've got their own way, haven't they? After all these 2 or 3 years, they've got their own way and they've drove off into sunset and they've gone stuck two fingers up at boxing fans. That's what they've done, mate. That's what they've done. And you know what? They're now going to get everybody to buy into. They're going to get everybody to buy into a rematch. And then they're going to get you all to buy into a trilogy because Eddie's got no stars now, has he? He hasn't got a world champion from UK. Bricktop's got two on him, Nick Ball and Dubois, who got his by email. So we've got a paper champion and Nick Ball fighting at a weight that nobody gives a shit about, even though he's a nice kid and he's put his time in. Nobody gives a shit about that weight division. Nobody. Fans don't. Nobody gives a shit unless he fights a know you, which he'll get bladdered against him. And we've got Dubois, a paper champion, who's just about to be served up against Usyk. British boxing's booming according to Super Bean. Well, how is it? Well, we've got a paper champion who's about to be smashed to bits in July. And we've got Nick Ball fighting at a weight that nobody gives a fuck about. So over to you, Kent.
I, I think Eubank's a bit better than a British level fighter, to be honest with you.
Yeah, what is he a European then?
I think he would be. I don't think he's a British level fighter. I think he's slightly better than that. You know,
Okay then,
he's
so you'd squeak him in not through cat flap under the door like a rat. You'd squeak him into European level then, would you, Kent? Yeah.
at the minute at not being at his best. Yes,
So he's European level. What level would you say he crushes at?
no idea, no idea.
Well, I'm throwing him a bone and I'm saying English, but if anybody wants to say British,
I
we've got a British, but I don't agree with it, against a
no.
squeaked in European because the dads were failing. Let me tell you about the dads. Between pair of them, they beat 11 world champions. Froch beat that on his own. So that's their dads. So they want testers and they had 40 odd fights apiece, didn't they? 40, 50 fights, whatever. So they were navigators. They didn't fight Michael Nunn, James Toney, did they? People like that, did they? Do you know what I mean? So Errol Bomber Graham were chasing a pair of them for years. Pair of them have been in with him. And they were like, oh, we're going to fight Errol Graham. So they were navigated, pair of them, but people get carried away with this Nigel Benn bullshit. I want to know if Nigel Benn took a drug test after the McLaren fight. Well, we don't answer, don't we, Ken?
At that time, it was really difficult for a British fighter to go over in America. Don King controlled those fighters at that time, and it would have been really, really mad to go into a contract and fight the likes of Michael Nunn at the time and
Crawford
Eugene
Ashley
Woolley.
fought him though, didn't he, from Leeds? He
Yeah,
said, I'll fight him.
yeah, like last minute and done really well against them. But at that time, like boxing in the UK was its own. It was kind of like it's in its own goldfish bowl at the time, and them guys were making money. So there was no way that they were going over to fight in America at that time. I know at one stage that Nigel was proposed to fight. I think it was Sugar Ray Leonard at one stage,
Yeah.
or it was Roberto Duran, but that was at the way.
It didn't happen though, did it? It didn't happen. He would have
No,
got flogged
no,
anyway. So he would have got flogged by both.
no, no. But it was at that time where all those guys were making a lot of money, selling out stadiums, selling out arenas, and basically it got a lot of interest in the boxing. Boxing at the time was coming off kind of like there was a lot of good fighters in the 80s in the UK, the likes of Colin Jones, etc. You know, there was a bit of a gap there from, you know, when like Henry Cooper retired. There was a bit of a gap who was going to be that next star. Obviously, Frank Bruno came in and was a massive name. So UK boxing at the time kind of had their own thing going on. American boxing over there had their own thing, and I think at the time with Don King basically ruling boxing over in America, like ruling boxing, it was it would have been career suicide and get in and signing a contract with somebody like Don King, whenever those guys could fight in UK, fight how many times a year that they wanted, fight who they wanted, when they wanted, for what title they wanted. They had a WBO title at the stage that basically was only formed in its infancy, and they could basically do what they wanted. So it was kind of had its benefits at that stage. Those guys made at that stage. Ben and Eubank commercially were probably coming away with more money than the likes of Michael Nunn and James Toney was in America
Yeah,
because they were
probably.
constantly calling out for them fights.
Probably, yeah. They're all cocksuckers anyway, all them Yanks anyway. Ian from Kent. He's been on channel. What do you think to him? Ian, give me a ring. Let's have you back on. Kent, I want to ask you now about Martin Bacoli. The rumour is going to fight Atoma next. And what do you think about Bacoli's performance at the weekend?
I thought he was beat. You know, you look at heavyweight boxing and you always say, I seen a footage of him about a month before and he looked terrible. Now, 90 days, that fight would have been scheduled in the UK. It wouldn't have happened because obviously he was knocked out. I looked at the weight and his weight was basically he was 11
But as
pound
a Pig
lighter.
Mitchell in Maniwa,
He was 11 pound lighter than he
he looked like
was.
Nutty Professor.
He was 11 pound lighter than he was against Parker, which was over 2.5 months, and he had lost 11 pound in that time. He looked, I tell you what, he got a gift. He got a gift,
Like
and to be honest,
Shiraz, Amzad Shiraz got a gift against the
he got
Dammers, didn't
he he got a gift in that fight. He did not win that fight,
he? Yeah, no,
and
no. Billy Nelson's gone into hiding, hasn't he, little Billy?
to be fair, he came out the next day and basically he basically criticized Martin's performance. He said he was overweight, he wasn't fit. He had it a draw. I didn't. I give Afi Jagba the win.
Good
I
man.
think,
Good man, Ken. Do you want to go on to part two, kid?
yeah.
I'll see you on part two, Kent. Pop, pop, bang. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. I'm just going to get a little bit of a rub. It's camera. There you go. There you go. Teeth need cleaning. What do you reckon? I'm like action man, aren't I? Eagle eyes. Well, I'll see you on part two where I'm going to be joined by Kent, a horse of a man from Belfast. Women love him, men want to be him, apparently. So, pop, pop, bang. Peace out. Max, I told you wouldn't be fighting Phil Williams on a Big Ron show, so why do you keep popping up on BoxRec every few months on a Big Ron show, Max, when you're not fighting? You just want to be known as a boxer, Max. Oh, God. Well, pop, pop, bang, Max, we'll get you back on. We'll roast you. All right, peace out.